Welcome back to Amazing People. This is the second round of interviewing with Dr. Farid Gharagozloo, and we're going to talk today about whatever comes from our mind. So, what do you love about what you do?
Wow. Well, that's a very complex question, obviously, but I can tell you probably the best way to answer that is to tell you a story. And I think
More stories. All right.
more stories
This is
are
the
best.
fourth story, I think.
Exactly. And the story has to do with when I was applying to medical school back in the 1980s. This was actually an interesting time because apparently it was one of the most difficult times to get into medical school and so forth. And I'm sure people who are trying to go to medical school these days find that it's not so easy. And then it was exceptionally difficult. And if you were lucky enough to get an interview and get a chance to talk to somebody, you would really want to make the best of that few minutes that you had. And then people would all ask all kinds of questions during these interviews. And I remember when I went to school at Johns Hopkins, and in that interview, the person asked me, so you want to help humanity, don't you? And he was very surprised when I said, no, that's not the reason I want to go to medical school. And it shocks you to hear that, but the truth is that, and I said, if I wanted to help humanity, there would be so many other ways, better ways to help humanity than being a physician. That's not the truth. The truth is, the reason I want to be a physician, and it's been true for all my career, is because I love what I do. And if I love what I do, then when I do it for someone, that love translates into doing the best possible job for them, taking care of them as a human, as opposed to a disease, which is how it's done in many places. And believe it or not, after the initial shock, the interviewer actually got a smile on his face, and he said, this is the type of person we want to have at Johns Hopkins. So I don't know if my grades were good enough, but it's certainly the passion that I had, and I have carried along. So so when you ask me what is the greatest in medicine, the greatest is that I can do a job and never think of it as a job, and be able to get that type of fulfillment. Now, whether you're a physician, whether you're whatever it is that you do in life, if you love everything about it, then you're not looking forward to the end of the day. You're looking forward to more of the same.
Not living for the weekends, the way a lot of people do.
Exactly.
And this is an example of where passion and love come through. And were your grades good enough? On the...
They were good, but I can tell you that that discussion elevated them to a whole different level.
Right, and it's an unusual answer to begin with because people are very aware, interviewers, interviewees, interviewees especially, are aware of the right thing to say. Mm-hmm. I'm here for the values of this organization, and I'm here for da-da-da-da-da-da. And the people who are hearing these answers, on some level they may know it's not necessarily true, because in almost no case is it actually true. But this is what on paper is supposed to be said, because that's the system that's been created, and we all know how to abide by it. Yes. So when you've broken it in a way and also worked within it at a higher level, I think that's fantastic.
Well, thank you. And I think that that's actually a very important point about life in general. You don't need to be a rebel. You can be a free thinker. You can be an honest thinker. Work within life. Understand the situation. Have that situational awareness that so many people talk about without even knowing sometimes what it means.
Just by telling the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, not blurting out certain things that are just, you really shouldn't say, but by speaking to a higher truth, which is what you did.
Absolutely. And I think that liberates you all your life. And I think that now, after so many years, when I sit with my patients, they see the truth. They see that honesty. They see that that I love what I do. I really do. Every day I want to be better at what I do. And I love the fact that what I do makes somebody better, heals them, and helps them. But if I came at this purely from that helping people kind of thing, then to be honest, that would be much more effective if I were a priest or if I were so many other things. And that would be that's an important self-realization. You got to know yourself.
Because there's a lot of self-focus you got to have, studying the stuff, making sure that your hands work and
Sure.
everything.
Yeah, if you want to help people but you really don't love what you do, as you said, you're not going to be very effective.
Right. So how do we translate this love what you do thing into how people live? The number one reason people don't love what they do and do what they don't love or what they may hate is because they need to earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, we live in America in 2018, and it's very possible to carve out a living in today in unconventional ways and so forth by doing what you love, but in a lot of cases you just don't make the same money. Had you chose to become a priest, you wouldn't make the same money as you do as a surgeon. So how does one reconcile the lifestyle benefits versus the love benefit?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's about the money, and I don't think it's about the lifestyle. I think it's about that inner peace, that fulfillment that you get. You can be fulfilled in doing anything. After all, these are all artificially created things. Whether you're a physician, you're an X, Y, or Z, this is people created that in a society, and we all have roles in it. So you don't have to think, I have to be the President of the United States to be the most fulfilled person. Or you don't have to think that if I'm doing whatever you people may consider a lesser job, that I am not fulfilled. That's the fallacy of the whole thing. What should be is that every day I don't say, do I really want to go to work today?